Can everybody hear me? Am I live? Am I live? If I'm live, put something in the chat. If you can hear me, put something in the chat. Need to make sure I'm live. I think I am. Yeah, I'm live. We're recording. We got about 1 minute until we're officially live. All right. All right, guys, we're live. All right, so tonight we are watching 1974's Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark, starring Olivia Hussey and John Saxon. So let's get into it here. So it's free on YouTube. It's an hour and 37 minutes. So we're going to dive into this. Let's get it started here, huh? Here we go. I'm drinking Mountain Dew right now. Excellent. Yo, Lil Laggy, or yeah, what's up, man? How's it going? Have you ever seen Black Christmas before? Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really good. This is like old school type horror. It's like one of the first slashers to like it's before Halloween and all that. So John Carpenter actually got a lot of inspiration for Halloween from Black Christmas. And like I said, it's free on YouTube. You just have to look up Black Christmas 1974, and as you scroll down, you'll see the it'll say Black Christmas 1974 full movie, 1 hour 37 minutes, and then you'll click on that. Uranium soup. Thank you. Yeah, this is a shirt that I got from Sandals. I went to Antigua like 3 or 4 months ago and got a shirt while I was down there. In case you're wondering where we're at in the movie right now, Billy the killer is walking around outside the house. So I'm not too far into the movie. Right now I am 2 minutes and I'm right at the 3 minute mark right now. In case you wanted to pop the movie on. Your favorite slasher is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is pretty good. I like I like the second film, I like the fourth film, and I like number 6. I think 4 and 6 are my favorites out of Friday. Do you mean can I sub to your channel? Is that what you're saying? Uh yeah, possibly. I mean, it all depends on I don't know what kind of content you do. What kind of content do you have? I'm not on my phone right now. So maybe later I'll check out your channel after the movie and check it out or something. It all depends on what content you make. I don't usually just sub to anything. I got to be interested in whatever the content is. I love Margot Kidder in this movie. She's always drinking. She's always drunk. The interiors of this house are really nice. Like I love the orange carpet and the wood. The woodwork in the house is really nice too. Nice cherry wood color, reddish brown. The actress right here who plays Claire, she's actually in the upcoming fan film Dave McRae is shooting. It's Me, Billy Part 2. So she's still around, still acting, and jumping right back into the role. Yeah, I'll check out your channel after the stream, man, and I'll see what you got going on. But I don't have I'm using my phone to film right now, so I can't really get onto my phone right now to click subscribe. You know what I mean? The Christmas atmosphere in this movie is excellent. The house, the music in the background. It's cold. There's snow on the ground outside. Like they do a really good job of setting up the environment, the atmosphere on here. Hi, Alunta Edwards. How are you doing? And here's the first phone call. If you guys wonder where we're at, we're right where the first phone call where Billy calls and he's making all the creepy ass noises. Like, could you imagine, like, someone calls your house and they're making really odd noises like that with multiple voices and super creepy. And there's Stifler's mom. Stifler's mom is in this movie. That's how long she's been around. This is 1974, and Stifler's mom was playing a sorority girl. Margot Kidder just gets on the phone. She's like, "Listen here, you pervert." We got to go back to cord phones, guys. I don't know. I mean, I like my smartphone, but there's something about a cord phone. Picking up a cord phone feels way more official or something. It seems more legit than, I don't know. Put into the chat if you're actually watching along to this film. If not, is it because you're lost? You don't know where to find the film? The wallpaper in Claire's room is great. Yeah, I mean, just how 70s is that shit? That cat too. That cat's fluffy. It's a good 70s cat. They just don't make movies like this anymore. Like, slashers now are just dumb. They're mindless. Shot like shit. I mean, this movie has great cinematography. Like, slashers, a lot of slashers, once you get into the 1980s where you get all the really crappy B-rated slashers, all just, they were just making them, churning them out. It was just dog shit cinematography and acting. This is actually a quality film. This is actually like a quality piece of work here. There's a squashmallow in the back? I didn't know the 70s had squashmallows. I'm not that desperate for a subscriber, but thank you. See, this Christmas party looks really good. See, I would love to be in a house like this at Christmas. It's huge, Tudor-style home. Excellent. I see Billy's up in the attic right now. Billy's in the attic, like, making the phone calls, Waiting to come down and kill him. Jimmy Fallon. What? Oh, never mind. See, this is a psycho boyfriend, Peter, who he's almost like a borderline stalker. He's kind of a loser, honestly. Because he's all stressed out because he's got this piano final. He's a musician. He's a music major in college, and he has this huge final. And his final is to play this really sweet ass piano solo or something, and he's just a dick the whole movie because he's just constantly up her ass and complaining about his piano recital. Then the house mother, she's hilarious. She's always drinking. She's hiding bottles of liquor in books and in the toilet. Like she takes the back of the toilet off, and there's like a bottle of liquor in there. So she's funny. I love her. There it is. There's the bottle of liquor right out of the toilet. But hey, if you're an alcoholic, there's some people they're desperate enough to, if they want to hide their addiction, they'll drink liquor right out of a toilet. If anybody's still in the chat, let me know who has seen this movie, who has not seen this movie, who has seen Black Christmas, who has not seen Black Christmas. I don't think there's anyone in the fucking chat right now. Maybe someone else will pop up later. That's alright, I figured it'd be a ghost town. And here, Claire's dad's at the university. Like, where's she at? Not knowing his daughter's up in the attic at the house dead because Billy crept down out of the attic and killed her. And also, even this is set in the U.S., but this whole movie was filmed in Canada. This is a Canadian horror film. It just looks cold. Like this scene right here, you can just tell it's cold as shit. And here's the Santa Claus. The Santa Claus just cussing left and right, right next to the kids. The dad is like, "What's going on? What's my daughter getting into at this university? She's slutting around." And then they start investigating the boyfriend at some point because they think he killed her. He's like, "Nah, I've just been playing hockey because there's a lot of hockey in this. I mean, they said it in the U.S., but they really should have chose another sport if they were going to set it in the U.S. because we don't do a lot of hockey here in the U.S. I like watching hockey when they're punching each other. Let's see this. The house mother's hilarious in this. She's talking shit about the dad, talking shit about the girls who live in the house. You can tell that she's just an alcoholic who's dealing with the crap job she has of being a house mother in some sorority. I don't know what version I'm watching right now in terms of resolution, what release. But this is pretty grainy. I'm glad I got the 4K. Like the 4K for Black Christmas is excellent, guys. Like could they have toned it down a bit on some of the saturation? Yeah, like I think some of it is a little overblown in some areas. But all in all, I think the 4K for this film looks excellent. Especially compared to what I'm watching on here. Now, granted, this is a free viewing on YouTube. Can't complain about free. But there is quite a bit of pixelation in some images, especially in the darker black areas of the image. There's definitely some artifacts going on. But goddamn, we need to go back to the cinematography that they had in the 70s. It was beautiful. She doesn't want to have the kid. She's pregnant. She doesn't want to have it. Peter's like, "You better have it. I want it." So now he's mad about that. He's mad about his piano recital. By the way, Peter is the same guy. He's the main actor in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it's interesting that he was in 2001: A Space Odyssey because that was such a huge, monumental film. Not that Black Christmas isn't a good movie. I like this movie. I love this movie. But once you're in a Stanley Kubrick film, like 2001, okay, it's odd you would take the risk and take a job to be in a Christmas slasher film. I mean, great script, great film. It's just odd to go from that level down to a horror film, because you got to remember, guys, back in the 70s, horror films were basically considered smut, trash. They weren't respected at all back in the day. It's not like today where, I don't know, every 4 people you run into, maybe 2 or 3 out of the 4 will tell you that they watch horror films. Back then it was like maybe every 2 out of 10 or something. And so Claire's dad, he's calling. He's trying to figure out where she's at. They're still on the hunt. Don't know where she's at. And here's the second phone call from Billy. This time Jess is on the phone as opposed to Margot Kidder. I know I keep saying this, but the camera work here is excellent. Excellent. Just a simple ass shot, just of the street, the sign, the zoom into the police station. Just that looked very nice, very nice. Something that today would probably be done in 3 shots, 3 separate shots. Back then they would do it in 1. You don't need to break everything up like they do now. And the cops, they're not very helpful in this movie. They don't really care to do their job. They're like, well, she's gone, she's missing, so what? 90% of the time, they're shacking up with their boyfriend somewhere. Give it 24 hours. I've got some dark wood like that in my house, like the wood trim in my house, like this closet right here. Like I have that dark brownish, reddish woodwork in my house. Love it, love it. I can't stand when you go in people's houses and they used to have nice dark wood like this, and then they paint the shit white because everything is farmhouse style now. One watching now. Who is the one that's still watching? I see that there's one person watching. Who who is the one person watching right now? And here's another hockey scene. You got more hockey. Doesn't feel quite American. Well, U.S. American. So the boyfriend doesn't know where she is. He hasn't been with her. Yep, she's not with her boyfriend. She is dead. And here's Peter. We're at the piano recital. Peter's breaking a sweat. He's trying his best to perform this whatever the fuck this is he's doing, and the judges are not impressed. I'm not impressed either. It's intricate, but it's sloppy. It's sloppy playing. I act like I'm some sort of goddamn piano player. He played C minor when he should have played C whatever. C major, that's what it is. It's minors and majors. See, that's how much I know. What's funny about that is I've made like over 200 songs in my life, and I can't even remember what minor and major are. Just shows you don't have to know too much to make music. And here we go, we're at the police station again. There's a girl missing. A mother's in the police station. She said that a 13-year-old girl's missing. And our man John Saxon is the sheriff here. Yes, and he's the man who leads the investigation into finding Claire. He said, they do the search party. Also here in the police station comes Claire's boyfriend and Jess. He's busted in, saying you need to find her. She's not with me, clearly. I mean, what would you do in that situation? Like, your daughter's missing. You know, she's not with the boyfriend. You've already went to the university. You've asked around. You've notified the police. What else do you do? Well, I would search every fucking inch of that house for one, which he doesn't do. I mean, she's literally right in the attic, dead in a rocking chair, right next to the window of the attic. So, I mean, if my kid was missing, I would have clawed my way through that house inch by inch. But it's a movie, so they got to be fucking stupid. Margaret Kidder, Margaret, Jesus. Margot Kidder here is drunk again and talking about turtle screwing or something. Because she went to the zoo. She's pretty much just drunk the whole movie. It's hilarious. I think Margot Kidder died though, right? She died recently, like in the last year or two. I love her in this movie. I love her in the Amityville Horror. Don't care for the Superman movies. Don't hate on me for that. But I'm not a big fan of the Superman movies with Christopher Reeves. Sorry. Barb, you're drunk. Go to bed. And the dad's just sitting there like, well, they've said everything to her I wanted to say. I'd still be looking around that goddamn house. I'd be looking through the neighborhood. Like he's just sitting there having a nice meal, waiting for her to walk back in. Like yeah, I was at Blockbuster, or I don't know, you know. And here's psychopath Peter wrecking the piano. He's pissed off. Of course, what he's doing is destruction of property at the university, which he can go to fucking jail for. So not only is he going to fail out of school, he's now going to probably go to jail because he's destroying a piece of equipment at the university that's probably worth, well, back in the 70s, probably still probably $1,000 or more. And here's the search party in the park for the 13-year-old. But the two are not related. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Billy didn't kill the 13-year-old. Um, Billy's been up in the attic for the last few days in the house. He hasn't left, so he's not responsible for whatever happened to this 13-year-old. But he did kill Claire. You can just feel how cold it is. This isn't some green screen bullshit. They're not adding the breath in with some CGI. Like, they're out there up in Canada at night with snow on the ground, the wind's blowing. You can just feel how cold it is. There's fires lit inside of trash cans. It just looks freezing cold. Just great atmosphere. Just great atmosphere in this movie. You just feel that you're in this house, you're in this town, you're in this environment. The way that it's shot is just done masterfully. We have one extra person in the chat. Who is the extra person in the chat? If you want to follow along with us right now, I am at the 39-minute mark. If you want to join along. Right now, the house mother's walking around, and it's the Midwest Vagabonds crew. Yes, yes, welcome aboard. We are watching 1974's Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark. Bob Clark is also the director of the movie A Christmas Story, where Ralphie gets his tongue stuck to the pole, and his dad buys him the BB gun. Same director. Yeah, there were some people in the chat earlier, but it was mostly a couple people that were just on here for me to subscribe to their channels. And then some psychopath in the chat says, I'll subscribe if you tell I love you, Colby. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I don't like when people come onto channels begging for subscribers. Like, just because you subscribe to me doesn't mean I'm going to subscribe to you. Because I don't know what you do. I have to like the shit you make to subscribe. So right now the house mother's going up into the attic where Billy's at, the killer, and he's getting ready to throw a big hook into her. I just can't believe this whole movie, Claire's dead body's been up in the attic and nobody has wanted to go and thoroughly search the house to go up and find her. She thinks it's the cat up there. Oh, there it is. She sees Claire. And now she's like, oh, snap. Oh, she's dead. That's what you get for going into an attic by yourself when somebody's went missing. That means there's probably a killer out there or something. I wonder what city this was filmed in. I don't know if this was shot. If I recall, I think Dave McRae said that this film was some of it was shot in around Ontario. I'm not sure. Now Billy's up in the attic going wild. For whatever reason, he's just having a temper tantrum and throwing a bunch of crap around in the attic. And now we're back to the scene where they're searching for the missing 13-year-old. And I guess they haven't found her. But still, it looks cold as crap in there. Like, it looks cold. They do such a good job of creating a bleak, cold winter atmosphere, which you have to do for a movie called Black Christmas. And the mother of the 13-year-old is screaming, so I'm guessing or somebody's screaming. Seems like they've found her body. There's dogs barking or something. The dad's wondering if it's Claire, but it's not Claire because Claire's up in the attic. Yep. So it was her daughter. So she died somehow. I don't know if she froze to death or. I don't think Billy killed her because Billy's been up in the attic the whole movie killing the sorority girls. And here's the third phone call from Billy. My question is, why is there a phone hooked up in the attic? Like, why would you have an active phone line from the attic? But whatever, it's a movie. Just hang up on his ass. I can't stand. They sit and listen to him for like 3 or 4 minutes. Now that makes sense towards the end because the police want her to stay on the line so that they can uh, find where the call's coming from. They want to be able to, whatever the term for that is. Because she doesn't keep him on the line long enough, they can't figure out. They can't trace the call. Trace the call. That's the term. Look at those 70s ass stairs. Look at the carpet on that. It almost looks like cheetah print or something. And then they trick you. You think this is Billy coming down the stairs to kill Jess, but it's not. It's her nut job boyfriend, who's pretty much dressed like Billy. So the whole movie, they lead you to believe that Peter's the killer, but he's not. But they do a good job. When I watched the movie for the first time, I thought Peter was the killer. I thought he was just super mad that she didn't want to have the baby and then he failed his piano recital. So they do give you good motive for him being the killer. The cops in this movie are pretty much incompetent. Like, they don't really try too hard to figure out what's going on. They staged a search for that 13-year-old, but they don't really stage in a search for Claire. The coverings on that couch. Yes. We need to go back to 1970s furniture and home decor. Like everything, the wallpapers, the cabinetry, the fabric, everything. We got to go back to 1970s style. We went wrong. Somewhere in the 1990s, we just royally screwed up and changed the fashion and style of everything. Even the 80s was had some decent stuff. Also in the 70s, everyone looked like Mark Hamill. Everybody looked like Luke Skywalker. It seemed they all had like a pointy nose. All the guys had like a pointy nose, and they had the Luke Skywalker haircut. I don't know what was up with that. And here's where Jess tells him, uh, like basically, uh, it's not gonna work out. She wants to do her thing. Like their lives are on separate tracks, and this is where he also gets really mad. And there's even more motive for him to snap and kill her. He's like, "Marry me, baby, marry me." She's like, "I don't want to marry you." He wants her to quit school, have the baby, and marry him. She's like, I got things I want to do, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to kill you. But he doesn't. He's not the killer, and we find that out. Well, we find that out later in the film because Peter dies, so he's excluded pretty obviously. Finally, so John Saxon, sheriff here, finally says we need to look into the disappearance of this girl Claire, and we need to look into who's making these phone calls to this house on a regular, on a regular basis. This guy keeps calling and harassing these chicks. After like 3 days or something of not trying too hard. I'm on like my last sip of Mountain Dew. I got like maybe like 2 drops in here left. John Saxon's coat, his suit jacket here, his suit jacket is about as thick as a rug. Like that's how great 70s fashion was. You could buy a jacket that was like half an inch thick. And here we go. Peter's mad again. They're still at the house having a conversation. I just want to know, like, if they were to ever make a sequel to Black Christmas, I just want to know. Well, I guess he's dead, so it doesn't matter. But at some point, the university would have had him thrown in jail for destroying a $2,000 grand piano. Finally, a cop shows up to the house after like 3 days of somebody going missing. Well, thank you. Yeah, yeah. This movie has great mood and atmosphere. That's one of the top reasons why I like watching it. I mean, it's cold outside. It's snow on the ground. You got a nice giant Tudor home that's decorated like Christmas inside. You got a fireplace going. Um, 70s interior design, which already has like warm earth tones to it. It's perfect. It's perfect. They don't make shit like this anymore. I mean, the guy right now, he has a flannel shirt on, a red checkered flannel shirt with orange pants. The guy's wearing orange pants right now. I mean, come on. You don't get better than that. And he's talking on a green phone. See, he's piecing it together. John Saxon's doing his job. He's showing up. He's asking questions. He's looking at the scene. He's in Claire's bedroom. He's looking to see if there's a sign of a struggle, or, crap that detectives do. They look around and try to figure out. Like, I mean, sure, it took him 72 hours, but. And she's probably dead by now. Well, she is dead by now. But. See, if I was the cop, I also would go up in the attic and look around. I would search the basement. I would like check the whole house. I couldn't imagine if someone's gone missing and you don't at least try to check the whole house they live in. That's like that damn John Benet Ramsey case. They didn't check the whole house until later. The dad checked the basement like after everyone came over to the house. Like, come on. Yeah, see, this film is in my top. This is in my top 10 horror films of all time. Because, yes, it's a slasher movie, which slasher movies are usually cheap crap. They're not done very well. But this is back when films, all films, had a high standard, a high bar to meet. You know? Even horror films back in the day were trying their best to be very cinematic and professional, and there was a level of class that films had. And then somewhere in the 80s, films lost their level of class. People just started dressing trashy, and 'cause everyone in this movie, even the teenagers, have like nice dresses on and suits on, and they're not dressed like bums. They're not wearing sweatpants and hoodies. And now here's Peter. He's outside the house. Peter's outside the house, staring inside, watching the cop activity. He watched the cops leave the house. So that makes you think, if you've never seen the movie, oh, he's peering in on the house, like he's looking to see what's going on. Like he's definitely the killer. And aren't they also wondering? maybe I missed it because I've been talking. But aren't they also wondering like where the house mother is? Like Claire's gone, yeah, but so is their house mother, who lives there with them, right? They don't really seem to care about her. Olivia Hussey, she's a great actress. She was also in Romeo and Juliet from back in the 60s. Um, that was a big movie. We watched that in high school when I was a kid. I think that's pretty much all she's known for, really, though. But it was a huge movie. The Romeo and Juliet movie was a big movie for her. And then several years later, she did Black Christmas. I don't know what else she's done, but she's a really good actress. And she's still alive. She was actually going to be in the It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 fan film, but she ended up getting sick. She had health issues and she had to decline. She couldn't promise that she would be able to be in the film, so they went ahead and they casted someone else as Jess in the film. But what a shame it is, because it would have been cool to see Olivia Hussey at 70 years old acting in a sequel. And there's Claire. Claire is up there in the attic. Billy's rocking her. It's so creepy. Like, she's dead in this rocking chair, and he's like rocking the rocking chair back and forth. Really creepy shit. Great shot right here. Olivia Hussey's in the foreground. You've got her on the couch, the phone, the fireplace is in the background. Just a great shot. Great Christmassy, just nice shot. Almost like Rembrandt lighting. The way that the shadows are on her face. And Billy's creeping down. He's coming out of the attic. He's coming down the ladder. And he's going into Margot Kidder's room. Barb's room, should I say. That's Margot Kidder's character in this film, Barb. And she's still asleep. I'm guessing she's drunk. And she's having a asthma attack. Barb has asthma. And so Jess is running upstairs right now to get the inhaler for her. That would suck to have asthma. When I've fallen before and hit my chest and like knocked the air out of myself before, or wind out of myself. And that sucks when you can't breathe for like 5 seconds or something or whatever. I couldn't imagine having to rely on that tube stick box or whatever the hell you call it. And Barb is now that she's huffed on her asthma stick, she's good. She's going to bed, and there's carolers outside. You got these kids outside caroling, singing songs. I don't think people do that a whole lot anymore. We had that like once in my neighborhood. Some people came around and sang around Christmas time. I think people should do that more. I think it's pretty cool. Even if you can't sing worth a shit, you should give it a try. going Carol. Problem is now that sometimes they want money. Like, well, I sang for you. You know, can I have $10? It's like, well, is it going to anything? Is this a charity? Oh, Billy's creeping around upstairs. There's a little POV shot of him creeping through the top floor, second story of the house. Jess is still at the front door, listening to the carolers. And Billy is creeping over to Barb's bedroom because he's gonna kill her. If you're just now joining us, but you're probably not, you've probably been watching for a while because there's only me and one other person watching. We are at the 1 hour 3 minute mark. That's right. We only have about 33 minutes left in this movie. About a half hour left to go, folks. And this is where Billy takes a unicorn, like a glass unicorn, and stabs her with the horn of it, which is pretty fucking, yeah, pretty creepy. We got 3 people watching. 3 people watching. Hey, whoever just joined, we are at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark. Barb just got stabbed with the unicorn horn. So that's where we're at if you want to join in. Midwest Vagabond says, wahoo. Yes, we got 3 people watching. Well, no, we're back down to 2. Just as soon as I said there were 3. Oh, wait, we're back to 3. This is like Vegas, you know? You're up 1 minute, you're down the next. Look at that. Oh, man. Oh, wait, third person's back. I'm just going to quit giving a shit, because whoever the third person is keeps showing up and leaving. Oh, uh-oh, we got another phone call coming in. Oh, so here we are. So right now, Jess is on the phone with Billy, and the police are trying to get her to keep him on the line long enough that they can trace the call. Now, keep in mind, guys, a lot of movies in the last 50 years have done the twist of the calls coming from the house. The calls coming from the house. You know, the killer's inside the house, calling from inside the house. Black Christmas was the first movie to do that. The next film to do that was When a Stranger Calls, several years later. But Black Christmas is the original, oh shit, the call's coming from the house. Now, they've made sequels to this. There was a sequel, there was a remake in 2000, not a sequel, but there was a remake in 2006. There was a remake in 2019. And there are 2 fan films right now that are out on YouTube. And I really only care for this one. To me, it's a standalone film. The fan films are okay. It's a nice what if Jess survived. I mean, it's left open at the end, but I always kind of assumed that when Jess is left alone in the house at the end, and then the phone rings again. That's basically the director telling you Billy's still in the house, and it wasn't Peter. Peter wasn't the killer. Billy's still in the house, and Jess dies. In the fan films from the last several years, Jess survived. So I don't pay too much attention to those. I don't really know what's going on right here. Like, we're in the police station, and there's some conversation happening with some random guy who's been brought in. Right now, Jess is talking with somebody else in the sorority, and she's like, well, if you think Peter's doing all this, if Peter's making the psychopathic phone calls, why don't you just tell the police that you think it's Peter? And she's like, well, I'm not really sure. So right now, she's even contemplating that it could be Peter who is the killer. Because he failed his piano final. She won't marry him. She doesn't want to have the baby. So there's plenty of motive there. Yeah, so the sheriff, John Saxon's sitting outside the house right now in his cop car. Well, no, never mind. John Saxon's at the police station. Another cop is outside of Jess's house, just in case shit goes down and they gotta go in. So here comes another phone call from Billy. The cops are on the line. Jess is on the line. Billy is on the line. She's got to keep him on there long enough to trace the call. That was a dumb question. The guy at the telephone company or whatever's like, hey, you want me to trace this call? Yeah, no shit, you want to trace the call. What else would you be doing right now? That's the whole point. You want me to trace this one? No, I want you to trace the one that comes up in the next 10 minutes. Man, back in the day, like, if you guys are watching, which probably not, but this guy's running through this huge warehouse of all these tubes, these giant tubes and things, and he has to run around and find which one of those connects or is related to that house or phone or whatever. Imagine having to trace calls that way nowadays. Like, what a pain in the ass. Yeah, so not only is this a slasher film, it's like, it's oddly enough like a Christmas movie. It's not a happy Christmas movie, but it's great. You get the Christmas atmosphere. It's a slasher movie. It's a whodunit. It's like a cop investigation movie. It's filmed in the 70s. How do you get better than that? like some of these movies back in the day, they have it all. They're like the Walmarts of movies because they give you just a little bit of everything. They sprinkle in several genres in one movie. Like The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a drama. It's a horror film. There's like some detective work in there, so you get a little bit of that. You know, you get like sometimes you get two or three genres in one film back in the day. A thriller. This could be also considered a thriller. I had never seen this movie until about 5 years ago. I never heard about it, and I was watching. There's a YouTuber on here called Cody Leach. His name is Cody Leach, and I've been watching him since like 2017, and somewhere around like 2019, he recommended this movie, and so I went and checked it out. And like I said, it's in my top 10 now. And I've bought the film twice. I bought it on Blu-ray, and then 2 years ago I bought it on 4K. And the 4K looks great. So right now, Jess and one of the other sorority girls opened up the back door, which they shouldn't have done. These two like older guys with guns showed up to the back door of their house just to let them know. They're like, "Hey, we're walking around the neighborhood. We're checking things out. We're looking for the killer." I mean, they're not the killers. They're good guys, but it was dumb to open up the back door and talk to anybody like that. All right, I see that there's 3 people watching. The third person who just joined, if you want to watch along, we are at the 1 hour and 16 minute mark. I was wondering what that sound was. My dog is snoring back behind me, so I was like, "What's that noise?" At first, I thought it was like a sound effect in the movie in my headphones, but it wasn't. Jess is going upstairs. I don't know why, but she's going upstairs. I mean, to be fair, she probably doesn't think that the killer's in the house. Why would you? Because you wouldn't assume the call's coming from the house, but it is. Billy's on the phone again calling her. Whoever the voice actor was for Billy did a really good job because they are really quick with obviously the lines were probably written for them and they read them off, but just the change in voices all within sometimes one or two sentences, just really great voice acting there. The lieutenant, John Saxon, he's at the university. He's looking at the busted ass piano that Peter tore up. So now he's like, anger issues. So Peter is the suspect number one. But why not? I mean, he should be. I mean, he's been fighting with his chick. He's destroying public property. But it still doesn't explain Claire's disappearance. Like in terms of being who's the person calling the house, yes. Peter is a suspect in terms of who's calling the house and making threatening calls. In terms of Claire, there's no motive for Peter to be the killer for Claire, because Claire's not his girlfriend. And here's where you find out. This is where they find out in the cop car that the calls are coming from the house. And John Saxon just said, "Oh shit." Here we go. There's another phone call. See, now the cops are calling her. And they're just going to tell her, hey, look, they're going to tell her the killer's in the house because it's going to freak her out. They're just going to tell her to just slowly walk out the front door of the house. And of course, she's not going to listen. She's not going to listen because her friends are upstairs. The cops are begging her. In reality, most people would just do what the cops say and just walk out the door. But she's like, my friends are upstairs. I can't just leave them in here. And the cop blew it. The cop was ordered to not tell her the killer's in the house, but now he has. And now he's screaming, don't go upstairs. Don't go upstairs. The killer's in the house. And what does she do? Well, right now she's going towards the front door. They're dead. She doesn't know that. But Phil and Barb are dead. So what she needs to do is quit screaming for Phil and Barb and go out the front door of the house just like the cops said. Or the cops are outside the house right now. Like in the cop car. They should just come in and kill the guy. I don't understand what's going on with why they need her to leave. Just come in the house right now and kill his ass. They're literally parked in front of the house. I never thought of that till now. I really don't understand why they didn't just come in the house and kill him. But then that would ruin the third act, right? Then you don't get the tension, the suspense of her walking through the house and getting chased. And see, if people used their brains in horror movies, the horror movie would only last for like 5 minutes. And there it went. My last sip of Mountain Dew. Oh, for the love of God. Why did you have to go in the room? So she busts open Barb's door. She finds Barb and Phil dead. They're all bloodied up. Billy's looking at her through the crack in the door. He's about to chase her down the stairs. We are now at the 1 hour and 25 minute mark, folks. We have 12 minutes left in the movie. 12 minutes left in Black Christmas. Billy just grabbed her by the hair as she ran down the stairs. He is super creepy. And he's fast. He runs. Like, a lot of killers don't run. Like Michael Myers, like slowly zombie walks. Billy just runs full force. Full speed. Now Jess has ran into the basement door, shut and locked it. She's on the top of the basement steps with a fireplace poker in her hands. And Billy quit banging on the door. He was banging on the door, and then he stopped. Now it's silent. She thinks he's went away. Luckily, she's not stupid enough to just walk right back out that door. She's going down into the basement. Maybe she can find an exit out of the house through the basement. My God. I know this is a free stream on YouTube, but this is so pixelated right here in these dark scenes. Like, the 4K clears all that up. It's almost like a film print, how good it looks. And it shows two cops driving down the street towards the house. But why? Weren't they literally in the cop car outside the house when they found out that the calls were coming from the house? I don't understand. Where did the cop car go that was outside the house with John Saxon in it? Unless they were somewhere else. I'm pretty sure they were parked outside the house. And now she's looking out a window in the basement. She sees a silhouette of a man peering into the basement window. Now, here's where the movie really doesn't make any sense. Why Peter? I know Peter thinks she doesn't want to talk to him, right? But why would Peter want to go to the basement window and try to get in the house and break and enter that way just to talk to her? He would go to the front door. He would knock. He would ring the doorbell. Showing the silhouette and having Peter break in through the basement is done solely just to keep up the red herring of Peter as the killer. It's the only sense that it makes. It's something I don't really care about in the film, because Peter would have just gone to the front door. So this only serves that purpose, to make you think that it's Billy. And now she sees Peter peering through the basement window. And she's probably thinking, why the hell are you coming through the basement? Now granted, she did have the front door locked, I think. I think all the doors are locked to the house, but still, to bust into the house through the basement window? I mean, like, if it was me and someone didn't answer the front door, I might just go back out to my car or something. Or I would knock a couple times and then probably leave. But to be like, you know what? I'm going to get up in that house and like bust the fucking basement window out. So Jess is definitely, she is convinced right now that Peter is the caller. Peter is the killer. She's hiding. She's looking at him, peering at him in the basement from a distance. They have now made eye contact. Jess, why didn't you answer me? I don't know, because you're fucking crazy. You had me worried, baby. I love 70s movies where they're like, baby, come on, baby. It's all right, baby. Now the cops showed up. Oh, Billy killed a cop. That's right. That's right. The cop that was outside the house, Billy slit his throat. That's what happened to the cop outside. Makes sense. Okay. That's why they didn't bust in automatically. Makes sense. Okay. So now the cops showed up. They've busted into the house. They're going down into the basement. You could hear Jess scream bloody murder from outside the house. And you're wondering, what is going on? What are they going to find down in this basement? John Saxon's got his gun out. He's ready to shoot a sumbitch. And he shines the light on Jess and Peter. Peter is dead. Jess is passed out. She's in shock. Or whatever the hell happened. She had to bludgeon his head, so she killed Peter with a wrench or something. Jess is now awake. Crossfades into the next day. Jess is laying in bed, resting. Now the cops are talking. What would have made Peter want to kill people? So, at this point in the film, you're pretty sure Peter's the killer. The cops are talking about Peter being the killer, wondering why he did it. Obviously, there was motive with, the abortion, him failing his piano recital, her not wanting to marry him. He snapped. So at this point, you're pretty sure that it's wrapped up and the killer's dead. But it's not. The killer's not dead. Peter wasn't the killer. Billy was. Claire's dad, who died, Claire, who died at the beginning of the film, he's just kind of sitting in the room with Jess and the cops, just taking it all in, like, well, I guess this is what's going on. Now Claire's father is in shock. I'm guessing he just overheard or found out that Claire is dead. They must have found her up in the attic. God, the 70s decor in her room. I want it. I want it. Let's go back to the 70s. All right, so they turn the lights down. Jess is in bed. It's not even the next day. It's still nighttime. Yeah, it's still nighttime. So it's the same night. So turn the lights down. Cops are leaving the house. It's silent. Jess is sleeping. It's dark. Camera's panning around. It shows Barb's room. It shows the bloody mattress. We've got about 3 minutes left. My Poochie dog's over here. My beagle. She came over to see me. There's Claire's room. Camera's still panning around, showing slowly the aftermath of Billy's murders. Camera is slowly moving towards the attic ladder, the ladder that leads up to the attic. The camera's now zooming in. It's panning in on the opening to the attic. The attic door opens up. Oh, dear God. They never found the bodies. Claire and the house mother are still in the attic, undiscovered. So right now there's a shot outside the home through the attic window showing Claire, the house mother, dead. It's panning out now. It's zooming out, or whatever you want to call that. Showing the exterior of the house. All the Christmas lights out front. So you have these dead bodies in the window. Then you have these nice, happy Christmas lights on the outside of the house. So that's interesting. There's a cop on the front porch smoking a cigarette. It's silent. There's just wind blowing. And the phone is ringing. And the credits roll. All right. All right, everybody, that's it. That was the Black Christmas 1974 live episode. Yes, that is it. The show is over, folks. Somebody just commented. They put 3 cigarette emojis. That's right. Yeah. Maybe after this show, I'll go out and smoke I'll smoke like 2 or 3 packs. Nothing washes down a Mountain Dew like a Camel cigarette. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's all. That's the show. Thank you very much. Show is over. Bye-bye. Have a good evening. See you next time. Peace out.